Hey guys, it's Doug, and for the starts, I just wanted to say this is a little section of a very long Q&A session that Jami and Shade did from Code Orange on their Discord server, and I was lucky enough to be pretty early in, and I managed to catch all of it. It's pretty heartwarming, and they definitely went out of their way to spend over 4 hours with us, so this is just a little segment.
All right, Captain Dugog. What's choices, brother, sister, whatever, whoever? I don't see, but get on here and tell me what it is, Captain Dugog. What is it?
Dugog, you're unmuted.
It is a majestic, beautiful song.
Sing the riff.
Sing the riff.
Sing
dun, dun,
Oh yeah, I remember it. Sadly, that sounds like all of our fucking riffs, but listen,
yeah.
the song's ass. Period.
If there's ever one song from that first album that still stands out to me, it's definitely Colors Into Nothing.
Oh my god.
I know it's the one that doesn't sound like your shit.
Wrote that song in about 7 minutes, so.
I'll tell you what. Like,
I'm about to throw that out the window.
Every band kind of has to start somewhere, and a lot of bands tend to look back at their first albums and kind of go, "Well, that was kind of dog shit." But then again, I mean, it kind of allowed you guys to move forward from that and
agree.
Your band forward.
Yeah, that's a total thing people don't get. They I'm not embarrassed of it. I think it's still sicker than most bands.
Yeah,
it's my shit. I love it. I'm just saying, if you compare, you know what I mean? I completely agree with you. You look back and whatever. But here's the thing. The truth is this, and I don't give a fuck when anyone says I know I'm right. The truth is this. For a lot of bands, their first record is their best one. And if you look back, it actually is the best. And guess what? It ain't true for us. We have at least 2 that are better than it. So, I mean, it's and the numbers don't fucking lie. No one even listens to it. It's not even like people listen to it on streaming but didn't go then. They don't listen to it. They don't give a fuck. So, you know what I mean? That's that. But still, either way, I'm still proud of it and everything. And I love it. I love everyone who loves it. I just like to fuck around and joke around about it.
I mean, early music, early bands, it's that kind of it's that early transition period where the bands, I guess they're trying to figure out what kind of music they want to put out, how people are going to perceive it, and then the second album's always like, okay, what worked and what didn't, right? So you guys genuinely evolved, and I feel like there's really good transitions between albums that show the change all the way from to Underneath from your first album. There's so many different intricate changes, and you guys definitely got better, I'll tell you what.
I agree, and I actually think Underneath is by far the most comparable to that first record of any of these records, because it's the biggest in terms of choruses and stuff, but it's also the most chaotic and the most different kinds of styles. So to me, it almost circled back around in a lot of ways. It's just a monstrous version of what we were trying to do then in a lot of ways, But I'm super proud of that time and that era. I just it's just when you put, it's some things are just truth, and the fact is, the fucking Underneath beats the shit out of that shit. It just does. Yeah. And if you don't think so, fuck off. That's it.
And for the people that were asking, choices beat out Calm/Breathe in the bracket.
Thank God. At least something got rid of a fucking song we made on a goddamn pedal. Get the fuck out of here.
You guys mind if I throw out my question too?
Let's go. Yeah, go. Let's go.
All right, cool.
Gotcha.
So I just started listening to you guys around the time the pandemic got a little insane, around March-ish, or at least around my area. So I got into you guys because I listened to a lot of Boundaries and Blood Youth and a lot of other kind of newer hardcore bands. And so when I finally got into you guys, I really liked a lot of the industrial sound that Shade brought in with the samples and the keyboard and the MPC, and I think that's really cool because I guess my music taste is a lot more nu metal-esque, as I'm a turntablist in a metal band. We don't have any music out, but so I wanted to kind of get both of your opinions on turntables in general, how it's kind of making a resurgence in a lot of newer metal bands, like Tala, for example. They're the Max Portnoy's band. They have a turntablist.
And shout out to Musin.
Well, the reason they do, I mean, this is the one thing I do want to specify. Shout out to Tala, because Max Portnoy's dad used to bring him, Mike used to bring him to our shows.
Yeah.
I met him at the last Dillinger Escape Plan show, and they've been big fans of us for a long time. But let's get it straight. Like, this shit goes in order. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
people do shit, and then other people do shit, and then other people do shit. Vane had a turntablist, right? They just added one a year ago. So now you're going to see more of that. And before them doing that, we had Shade doing what he does, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And before that, there wasn't a lot of people doing it. So, you know what I mean? It's just things are cyclical and go in waves. But I respect everybody who, you know, is I think that's awesome. You're a turntablist. That's a rare thing. And it's not in metal. It hasn't been my favorite thing per se, but it's been used great in a lot of ways. I think Vane uses it pretty cool. It hasn't been on their records very much, so I guess we'll see what happens with it. I'm more into like the electronic side than like the scratch side, but I think it can be used really well, and I'm sure there's a lot of cool, tasteful ways to do it. Yeah, Deftones has that. I see Evan saying that in the chat. But I think that, honestly, let's be fucking real, okay? I think Tall is probably more influenced by us and Vane and stuff than anything like that. That's just how things are, man. That's what the young bands get influenced by the young bands, and that's how it's always been. You know,
you guys are all playing shows at the same time. You guys kind of check out what each other are doing. It's always this kind of osmotic influence between each other. It's like, hey, I like what this band's doing. Let's see if we could try and do something a little similar.
For sure, yeah. And I'm always down with that as long as the bands involved pay respect. Because we've had trouble in the past where there's things we do, and again, we've of course learned from lots of other bands, but we do things, and then other bands do something very similar, and they don't show us any respect, you know, and the kids pick up on it and go, oh, Code Orange and this band do the same thing. And sometimes, you know, I just got to swallow that and say, okay, whatever. I mean, well, we've been fucking doing it, you know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, people learn over time. That's how it goes. People learn over time. But Tala, I haven't got to listen to their record or anything, but he's a great kid, and his dad's a great guy. And so I'm happy that they're having some success. That's great.
Yeah. The other question was for Shade, and I don't know if I can ask this or like as in detail as I want to, but it's about the transition between guitar to sampling and keyboard stuff and how that happened, because it's really interesting because I went from the turntables to guitar back to turntables in my band, and so I just kind of wanted to ask what kind of caused that influence to, hey, you know, maybe using more industrial sounds or sampling in the band could kind of add this aesthetic to the sound, and what kind of caused that?
All right, Shade, this motherfucker doesn't want to hear from my ass, so you get in my chat.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm playing. Shade, you're in.
Well,
he said well and then cut off. Shade, are you there, brother? You're gimmicking.
Oh, you hear me?
There you go.
So it was like, I don't know. It was just, you know, I started making more and more shit that just like I couldn't play on guitar that was being used more and more in the music. So it was pretty like natural progression. It got to the point where it was like, all right, there's too much stuff I've added to the song that I can actually play guitar. So we were like, let's get fucking Dom in here to take the stress off while we were writing, just so we could like hear the music before we started really doing full on production, like pre-production for songs. And it was just like, you know, this feels better, like me just doing this shit and Dom doing his thing, you know. So just kind of
and so do you use like
listen, one other thing I want to say is this to everyone here. People be biting our shit, so I expect the motherfuckers in this chat to let them know, because a lot of times I see people biting our shit and we don't get no support. You don't see anyone saying, oh, what about Code Orange? So, thinners, you got to back Code when the biters come around, because we ain't that big. And we could, you know, we don't want to get over fucking shadowed. So, don't forget, Code lays it down.
Like, I showed my band's guitarist, you guys, because we try our, we have a lot of like early new metal, like that's kind of what inspires us, like a lot of early Slipknot and early Limp Bizkit, like not after the set. Yeah, right. So when we started listening to a lot more hardcore, And when I showed him Code Orange, he was like, "This kind of sound is kind of what we wanted to go for, but with a lot more of a new metal aesthetic, specifically with like sampling and scratching." And so
That's
we're still
cool.
kind of in the developmental phase, but you guys are really inspirational when it comes to
I
stuff like
love
this.
that.
So,
See, yo, don't get me wrong. Like, I just see a guy saying, "Fuck, all I try to do is make sure I'm not biting code while being inspired." Listen, if you're our fan and you fucking have respect and love for us, dude, bite every single thing we do and get inspired. I love it. I
so
just get pissed off when bands, especially bigger bands or bands for our size, bite our shit and then give us no credit. You know what I mean? That's where I get frustrated. I don't get frustrated. I absolutely love I would love to hear that. Like, just knowing
yeah.
that you're inspired by what we're doing, I would love to hear it. So
So I think I'll send it over whenever I get it done. But I was gonna do like a scratch cover of a couple of your songs. I have like a whole list of covers I was planning on doing, and so like I was gonna try and scratch something over some Code Orange songs because I feel like I could do something cool over them. So
that's awesome. Yeah, send us that shit. That's badass.
yeah, cool. Yeah, that's all I really had to ask. But thanks, you guys are great. Thank you for
Thank you very much.
having me do this.